It's time to update you on the impacts of the COVID-19 pandemic and oil prices on the Calgary real estate market. My name is Jasmine Lai with the LiveInnerCity real estate team, and we've been closely monitoring this so that we can provide you with the proper advice whether you're a buyer, seller, or an investor. I'm going to start with some statistics first so that you understand where the market is right now and where we think it's going to be going. And by the end of this video, make sure you stay until the end because I'll be providing specific advice for buyers, sellers, and investors. If you're new to this channel, welcome. Hit that subscribe button and notification bell so that you can keep up to date with the current Calgary real estate market trends. As well, we're coming up with weekly videos for mortgage and real estate tips for you. As of this week ending June 7, 2020, WTI crude has oil prices hovering about $40 per barrel. Calgary is now in phase 2 of our relaunch and we've been doing very well. And as long as we continue to follow all the rules and physically distance ourselves, the much needed investment back into our local economy from restaurants, retail shops, and services are definitely going to help our bottom line. It's important to distinguish that the COVID-19 pandemic can be seen as a pause on the Calgary real estate market from the end of March until about mid-May, but the underlying oil price issue is a bit longer term in nature. Here's some quick stats and my analyses so that you can understand what is going on in Calgary's real estate market today. If we look at weekly sales and we take a look at the end of March this year versus the same time last year, we were underperforming by 65%. But through April, that gap has lessened to about 45%, and through May and June, the gap has lessened even more. This is great news because it's showing a little bit more optimism in the market and is also consistent with my original predictions about sales volume dropping very sharply at first and then making a quicker recovery back to expected levels. If you haven't seen that video yet, you can check it out here and I'll leave a link in the description below. The number of new listings is also down by 50 to 55% when compared to the same time last year. But if we look at the total inventory picture, last year in April 2019, we had about 7,100 homes for sale. This year, only 5,600. So there's a gap of about 1,500 homes that are not on the market yet today. So what's the story about pricing? During this period of time, we saw that buyers or demand decreased, but also sellers and listings or supply also decreased. So it did not affect prices as much as you would think. And the range was actually a decrease of about 0.5% up to 2.81%. Now the second part about the pricing story is the sold price to list price ratio. And this helps us to gain some insight on what homes actually sold for versus what their list price was. This trend is slightly increasing, so buyers and sellers are closing a little bit closer to the list price because at the end of April, it was at 94.7%, whereas in the middle of May is at 95.9% of list price. One of the strongest leading indicators of real estate activity are property showings. If we take a look at the graph, the blue line represents last year's weekly average and the orange line is this year. And at the end of March, you can see a steep decline in the orange line because property showings dropped off a cliff. Now, look at where we are right now, and this graph represents up to June 5th. We are only 6.4% under where the expected level of showings are. There's definitely optimism in the market right now for buyers, as a portion of them who do have job security are continuing with their plans to move. Here's my advice for buyers. With a gap in total inventory of about 1,500 homes that haven't hit the market yet, and also the slower pace of new listings, coupled with the showing activity almost to the point of where it was last June, the data suggests that rock bottom prices have come and gone, and so you should adjust your expectations accordingly. But based on sold price to list price ratio, there are still very good value deals out there to be had. There were two price ranges that were hit a little bit harder and that you can still see about 7 to 8% off the list price, and that's the under 200,000 bracket as well as the high-end luxury home bracket. And of course, make sure you feel comfortable with your job situation and then you have the job security going forward. Here's my advice for sellers. There's a window of opportunity here, because if that 1,500 gap in inventory hits the market today, it's gonna flood the market and it's gonna have a downward pressure on price and force you to price yours more competitively. And if we look a bit longer term into end of this year and beginning of 2021, it's my opinion that we might see prices decrease a little bit further still. And this is because while we might beat COVID-19, which I really hope that we do, but we still have the underlying issues with oil price and our province's reliance to it. So take this opportunity and list your property now instead of waiting a few months, as long as your particular situation allows for it. Advice for investors. The simple fact right now is we're still in very uncertain times. But that puts a lot of sellers with the slower pace of sales volume happening not in quite the comfortable position. And adding to that, some of these sellers are going to be more motivated because they're in a financial position which is forcing them to need to sell. So for example, some of these sellers may have already deferred their mortgages a few months ago but haven't gotten their jobs back yet, but now are needing to start paying their mortgage again. And the rental market is only getting stronger with more buyers delaying when they're going to purchase their first home. And there's still evidence that great deals are out there to be had, and a great realtor is going to be able to find them for you. Thanks for tuning in as we continue to keep you informed as the situation unfolds. And let us know that you found this video valuable by hitting that like and share button. And if you have any questions or comments, put that in the comment section below. If you haven't done so already, hit that subscribe button because we're coming up with tons of more videos weekly for you. My name is Jasmine Lai with the LiveInnerCity real estate team, helping you keep real estate simple. We'll see you in the next video.